Welcome to the Redvee TV preview show, supported by A-Star Recruitment for the 2021 season, as we look ahead to St Helens Round 3 Super League clash against Wakefield Trinity this Friday at the Totally Wicked Stadium. 6 o'clock kickoff. It's an early one. So if you've not got the time booked off work, you need to get home quickly to make sure you get to see the game. Evening, Kevin.
Evening, David.
Back to Super League action this week, bit nervy in the cup this week. Before we go into anything else, I think we better start this episode by saying, if you have not got a season ticket and you have not got a code from the club to be able to watch the R-League stream on Friday, you cannot purchase the game. I think we've seen it loads on social media, both on Redvee and on various forums, people asking about it. And it's not a club decision. It is a decision by Sky, who hold the broadcasting rights, that only fans who of the clubs who are season ticket holders will be able to see their respective games. So you will not be able to buy it on Friday. I think the only thing we can say is, if you know a season ticket holder who's got multiple season ticket holders in the family, speak to them and see if you can get a code off them if you've got one spare. But that's it, isn't it, Kev?
Pretty much. Don't want you barking up the wrong tree. Yeah, it's a strange decision, isn't it? It's to not kind of sell the game. I know Sky have got the rights and the exclusivity and all that, but there's going to be people who do want to watch the games, and like you get walk-ups at the rugby. You're going to have fans of other clubs who just turn around and think, you know what, if I could buy the games on tonight for £8, I would do. It's just a shame that we're at this moment when we've got, all right, I know stuff's been relaxed, but we've got a potential captive audience. It's not being built on. Yeah,
it's a strange decision by the TV companies on the basis that they've done it for the Premier League football, that every game is being televised. And especially the fact that the cameras are there, and obviously your fans are going to be able to watch via the stream if they're a season ticket holder. I don't know why they've just not sold the games and even got a 50-50 split between the clubs and Sky to get some of the broadcast money. I know it's not massive amounts, but it's just a shame, really. But there we go. So the only way, if you're not going to be able to watch the game, is going to be to follow the club's official Twitter streams or our fan-biased Twitter stream, which will give you all the Redvee tinted glasses you need. Cup game of the weekend, Kev. I wasn't about for it. The important thing was getting into the hat, wasn't it? Is it me, or have we got a little bit of a mental block in the cup? If that had been a league game against Leeds, we would have put 40 on them. But things are a little bit different in the cup. Maybe it's teams raising the game.
Yeah, possibly. I think Leeds had a free hit. Me and Peter spoke about it quite a bit on Saturday. Glad you watched it. Me and Peter talking a lot of sense, no interruptions. But Leeds had a free hit, and I know Christian will mention the spoiling tactics, but I think that they could kind of go out there and kind of do whatever. And for us, it'd have been, there was no win. We beat them, and we're beating the Leeds reserve team. We lose, and it's the one of the worst results that we've had since probably the start of the 2019 campaign or end of 2018. So it's, listen, we're through into the hat, as you say. Result trumps performance every single time in the cup. You're just happy to be there. And listen, as we said as well in the instant fan reaction, it's a case of, at the minute, we're not firing going forward. We're quite solid in defence, and I know we let Brad Dwyer in for a couple towards the end of the game. But you know what? We're still okay in defence. We're still managing to keep teams out more than we're going over at the other end. So once our attack starts firing, we'll be even better, won't we?
Yeah, and it always does amuse me when you see before the games, when we play in the cup, fans always turn around saying, I don't care how we win, I don't care whether we win by 1 or 40, as long as we win. But then when we don't win by a huge amount, the same people then come on complaining that we're not playing very well. You can't have it both ways at times, can you?
You read our social media then on the weekend.
It's the same every time. You can pretty much write it. Yeah. The squads then, Kevin?
Yeah.
There we go. See, technology works all the time now. The 21-man squad, Dan Norman, Tom Nisbet come in for Matty Lees and Simm Matautia. Aaron Smith also returns as Josh Simm also drops out. Again, pretty strong squad considering. I know we're missing a couple of our starters in terms of like Matty Leigh and Simm Matautia, but should still be enough there to get the victory on Friday.
Yeah, I'd have thought so. That's it. It's going to be interesting to see how Christian does with the bench after being down to 15 men, which I think was part of the reason for the performance on Saturday. It'd be interesting to see if he goes with a slightly bigger bench. I know his hand was kind of forced a little bit with Aaron Smith being out with his head knock, and him playing Dodd instead. I can see that being switched and Smith coming back in this week, but he might just go with a slightly bigger bench potentially. And I've got it down. My thoughts are, I don't think Percival will play. That's just a guess. He's said if he's not 100%, he's not going to play. So why risk him early when you can kind of give him another week's rest and get him back in when he's completely firing? I think Dodd, Nisbet, and then it's one between Wingfield and Norman who will drop out as well.
Sorry, so who misses out for you, Kev? I'm sure you just named 4 potentials.
Percival.
Yeah.
Dodd.
Yeah.
Nisbet.
That's 3. Hongham's 4.
Yeah.
I can't count.
And then that's Percival, Dodd, Nisbet. Yeah. Are you with me still? And then one of Wingfield or Norman to take us down to 17.
Because 21 minus 4 is 17.
Lockdown maths with David Lyon. It always comes back to bite you, David. Yeah, so that's it. It'd be interesting to see because I don't usually do it where you write down a bit of a team, but it's mainly the bench I was interested in. I could see it being Smith, Parsi, Batchelor, and then it depends. Is this a good opportunity to get Dan Norman in and not necessarily playing for very long because Amor and LMS can do bigger minutes, and Parsi did bigger minutes like a weekend. Can you put Dan Norman in and just play for 20, 25 minutes and try and see what you can get out of him almost either side of half time?
Yeah, and the end of the day, he's not a kid. He's played at a high level before, hasn't he? So, for me, this is an ideal opportunity to put him in. You're not resting people. You're putting him in because we've got injuries. I think you play Batchelor. I think you play Norman. For me, I'd put Wingfield in as well. I'd have Dodd, Nisbet, Percival. I'm not sure whether you put Smith back in. Probably, maybe. Do you go with a bigger bench?
That's part of the big bench thing. That if you think that you want to rest Roby, you can always put Bentley into 9. I don't like it, but you could always put Bentley in there just as a kind of a stopgap for 20 minutes, just to give Robes a bit of a rest. It's not a bad shout. I just think we keep saying that it's got to be a big season for the likes of Aaron Smith and Josh Eves, and I think that, to be honest, a game like Wakefield, could you put him in to start? You could, you could, and turn around and say, right, listen, we're playing these, we're expected to win. This is the benchmark, because we are expected to beat Wakefield. This is the benchmark. Listen, you've got to start showing me that you are the heir apparent, the man who's going to take over from James Roby.
I think what you were talking about, Mark Pearson, before about what Christian Wolf said about not playing if he's fully right, does that go back to what we were saying last week about putting Percival in that 21-man squad for Leeds when there was absolutely no intention of him ever playing?
Yeah, and that's it. We had a response on social media, on Twitter, to the squad. There's somebody saying it's a waste of a squad place. I think at the minute it doesn't matter because of obviously, and they weren't saying it in a bad way. I'll make that very, very clean.
As in the 21-man squad.
Yeah, as in the 21-man squad, it was a waste picking him if he had no chance of playing. But it doesn't matter at the minute. We've gone through this, and as I said, they didn't mean it in a bad way. They were just saying you could name someone else in there.
But I think
I don't think it matters.
But it's irrelevant, and it's like it exactly goes back to what we discussed last week.
Yeah,
we're now on Wednesday evening or Wednesday dinner time when the squad's announced. Christian Wolf will already know his 17th for Friday and who the 18th man is. The other three players you could name: Mike Rush, Jamie Allen, and Kev Cunningham on the bench. There you go. He's been promoted this week. You've got two club employees and one who wishes he was one. There's the rest of your 21-man squad.
Yeah, that's it. You are right. It doesn't matter because he will know who's playing. It's not. They'll probably have a plan or a couple of plans in place weeks in advance as well of when they want to be able to rest. Whether it works or not is another matter. But when they want to rest players like James Roby, when they want to give Alex Walmsley a week off, and Johnny Lomax a week off, they'll know when them times are going to come. They might just have to be shifted due to injury, illness, suspension, anything like that.
Okay, the Wakefield squad. Get it to work. There we go. Eddie Batty comes back in. Just go back and watch our videos from when we played London, what our thoughts are. Dan Norman can go up against Eddie Batty.
Well, listen, Wakefield are missing quite a few. They're missing like Max Jowett, Tom Johnson, Bill Tupu, Liam Kay, missing off that, Matty Ashurst, Tanganoa, and the other fullback, Alex Walker. So they're missing quite a few though. I've seen a couple of Wakefield fans on Twitter as well, and they were saying they hope they can keep it under 40 or 50. So it remains to be seen. Listen, they're being linked with the likes of with David Fifita's twin brothers, aren't they, as another prop? I just think they need more. They're a city team, Wakefield. They're from a city. I don't know. There just should be more about them. I think there should be a bigger following, a bigger kind of push on the likes of Wakefield rather than kind of where they always seem to be round about the bottom four, sometimes come up towards the top. It's a shame that there's not more because they're a historic club as well. But whenever you see people talking about expansion and who should and shouldn't be in Super League, they're always one of the teams who are talked about as just disappearing or merging with others.
Yeah, I look at that squad that Wakefield have got out there, and for me, I think Leigh is their competition this season. I think Leigh are more than capable of getting enough wins on the board to finish above Wakefield, given what they've shown so far.
Possibly, yeah, that's it. It as we said earlier in the season, there's going to probably be a mini league of a couple of teams around there who they've just got to try and pick up points off each other and have a free hit against teams who you'd imagine will finish in the top 4 or 5. Wakefield's always a difficult place to go to. We've said that in the past. If fans get back in, if teams have got to go to Wakefield on a blustery Sunday afternoon, and when it's pouring down with rain, that's when Wakefield are pretty much at the best, aren't they?
It is. Other news this week then, Josh Simm has gone to our feeder club Leigh. He's gone there for a couple of weeks to get some game time. Obviously, it probably shows that Mark Percival is close to fitness, if we're prepared to let Josh Simm out at this moment in time. And it probably shows that Jack Wellesby is probably ahead of Josh Simm in the pecking order.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's it. For a centre berth, I think he is. And that's no disrespect to Josh. I think this is a good move for him, especially if he can get some game time over at Leigh. Initially 2 weeks, and then it goes week by week, which is great for him, to be honest. But yeah, Wellesby is definitely ahead of him. As you say, probably nods towards Percival could be put back in if we needed him to play in the next 2 weeks. But yeah, listen, it's good for him, and it's good that kind of they've sorted out the loan system, so it doesn't have to be for a month. Because I think if it was for a month, we'd be more inclined not to send him out there.
It's going to help plenty of players this season, isn't it? Get game time. Obviously, we've seen Josh Eaves get a game in the opening round of the season for Leigh. And obviously, Josh is hopefully going to get some game time there now as well. And against quality Super League opposition, which is going to be really good for his development.
Yeah, it's a different scenario, isn't it, over there? Because they're battling for their lives, really. It's a different scenario than kind of the pressure of being at the top. So it'd be good for him. It'll make him a little bit more rounded and kind of realise the differences, I suppose, in rugby at the top of the bottom of the league. And kind of show when you're battling and when you're defending an awful lot, or when you'd imagine they'll be defending an awful lot, then it might be a little bit tougher than always on the go forward.
I would suspect he will be back in 2 weeks, though, on the basis that we play Leigh on the 30th. I can't see us allowing him to play.
Yeah, it's true. No, I can't. I can see it being just a couple of weeks, just to get him some match fitness.
Although I do suspect that the rules probably are that he can't play against us anyway. And then obviously it's the cup weekend the week after, so he will be back by then. But yeah, it's a good chance to get a couple of games under his belt and help Leigh out in their battles to stay up. Other news this weekend, Kev, Women's Super League starts again this weekend. Good to see the women's game back on the agenda, obviously after missing out last season.
Yeah, definitely. They're playing Bradford on Sunday at 3:00. All games are behind closed doors at Victoria Park in Warrington. But it's good to see the women's team still being thought of, the game being grown in that way. It's a shame that they missed out on last year, isn't it? And I think Gemma Walsh, who we'd signed from Wigan, has picked up an injury and she's retired, so she won't be able to get to play alongside her wife Emily Rudge, which is a shame.
Is that not a
staunch Wiganer in the seat?
I was going to say, is that not a 12-month chance to think things over, and the pie blood has come through and she's decided that she can't bear to wear a Saints shirt?
I more think you're a long time retired, and she'll have probably weighed it up. And listen, I think once you start getting them knocks and injuries, and you're not quite feeling that you're recovering as well, you tend to kind of know. Especially for the women, especially for the women, where obviously they've got careers outside the game that they've got. Obviously, it's the livelihoods. They've got to think of their own personal positions and finances. That's it. They're not getting. Yeah, they're not. That's it. They're not getting paid or paid handsomely for their endeavours. So, listen, rugby probably comes second at least to, and possibly third if you've got families, if you've got a job that you've got to go to 9 to 5 every day, or working shifts or whatever. It probably is a case of you've got to realise that not everything revolves around rugby. And it's good to see it back, because Saints will be one of the front runners. It's just a shame, as I say, we couldn't see a staunch Wiganer pulling on a Saints jersey. Wonder if she'd have kissed the badge.
We'll have to try and get her on one week and see if she'll give us some insight about obviously signing for the club and how desperate she was to pull on the jersey.
Yeah, exactly. If she's dodging a bullet with not having to put the jersey, I'm sure she would have done.
Yeah. Listen, there's one more fan on the sidelines for us this season anyway. Obviously, Twitch are going to stream a game each week from the Women's Super League. And as a bonus, we'll also cover the Betfred Women's Challenge Cup. So they're going to get some decent coverage. And I think the R-League app will show, obviously, some of the games back and highlights as well. So we'll keep track of the women's team this season, and we wish them all the best. And hopefully we can bring that trophy home this year.
Yeah, why not? Be a good one to have in the trophy cabinet.
And obviously the World Cup at the end of the year for the women's game as well. So plenty to play for the girls looking to get into that squad too.
Yeah, definitely, and that's it. We've had quite a few representatives for England, so it'd be good to see some more representative honours for Saints.
Right, I think that's about it for this week, Kev. Predictions for Friday then?
Saints by 32.
I'm going to go Saints by 36. And I predict we'll get more than 36 tweets at us asking where they can buy the game. So if you've missed that part of the show, go back to the beginning. It's bizarre, isn't it? But there we go.
Yeah.
Right. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we will be back for the instant fan reaction on Friday evening. Take it easy.